Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, today we're talking about the one and only Exen crypto. Before we look at the technical analysis, ladies and gentlemen, let's look at some of the basics. We can see we are ranked 132 in the world. We are currently at 0.01382. We are down 20% on the month, right? Not ideal. We're down only 1% in the last 7 days, which makes me think, based off the low volume and the fact that we've been kind of going sideways, makes me think that we are looking for reversal soon. But we will look at that in just a little bit on the actual charts. Yeah, we can see 473 million market cap, 22 million volume. And when we go to something like this, we can see that despite the price action Exian has been having over the last mainly 2 weeks, you know, we have been still growing in holders, right? Some days we only grow like 10 people, sometimes we grow 50, sometimes we grow 30. It just all depends and really is just random, but nonetheless, we are still growing. Is very, very nice to see. And I expect for us to really pick up momentum once we officially flip bullish, right? Once we flip bullish in price action, it will just make a lot of sense for there to be a lot of bandwagon. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we can see this is the current price action. We did pump very nicely from practically, let's just say the June 8th, or sorry, July 8th up until July 14th. After that, we did kind of go sideways and consolidate for some time. We can see the day we attempted to push on the 22nd, we failed, right? We pushed heavily, we failed, we closed very, very weak. And you can see the next day resulted in a massive sell. So yeah, that's just been the case. We kind of went from going up sideways to back down. But over the last few days, we have been kind of going sideways, right? Especially kind of since the beginning of August, practically since the first, we kind of went from consistently selling off to kind of consistently, being sideways. Yes, there's still a little bit of sell off the other day, but ultimately, right, it's not much lower from the lowest previous point we had on the 6th, which was at 0.013533, right? This one goes down to 1.3. So practically not even like half a percent change, right? 0.22% more. So, mainly sideways we've been going. You can see though, just in terms of trend lines and closes, right? We are kind of we're in multiple channels right now. All right, we are in multiple channels, and we can see, right, this is how just the retests have been going, right? Boom, over here, very nice. Oh, I guess the marker's kind of messed up, but boom, we can see one, boom, we can see two, right? There's multiple wicks. There's literally multiple wicks and points of rejections, right? For multiple days, we're going off this trend line. Boom, now we broke through this current trend line, the lower one, and now we're looking to be retesting off it, right? Once we gain momentum, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to look very, very good. You could also debate that, there's a trend line going this way too. All right, there's a trend line going this way too. And you wouldn't be wrong, right? You would not be wrong. We can overall see in terms of daily fundamentals, things are looking like the way they should be in terms of sells, right? When we go and cut out the noise, we can see that we have a low, right? We have a low, we have a high, we have a lower low, we have a lower high, and we have a lower low. So nothing crazy, right? Nothing crazy. Nothing indicates, 100% a reversal. Just a high probability based off of the area we're at right now. But in terms of candles themselves, nothing yet, right? Because if anything, we're just staircasing downwards. We need to really switch momentum. We really either need to create a higher high or we need to create a higher low to really get a shift in market structure. Until then, right, there is zero confirmations of reversals, just probability based off of the zones that we're at, right? We're at some of the lowest zones, ladies and gentlemen. Right, we are at some of the lowest zones we've had practically since mid to late June, right? This is literally the lowest price action. And, if we were to go lower than this, then the last time would be lower than 0.0120 would be all the way back in April. So I really doubt that is the play. We can also see something like Bitcoin has been holding fairly decently, right? Nothing too crazy, but it has been holding fairly decently around 120,000. So we're going to see how Bitcoin plays out. There is a chance that this is the cycle top, ladies and gentlemen, especially if we start seeing a sell off, right? And we start seeing Bitcoin dominance to really crash, then that is going to indicate that, hey, this is it. This is going to be a start of altcoin season, right? Altcoin season for me starts pretty much when Bitcoin dominance starts selling off, right? People call it, there's like two categories for this. This is the first one, the first indicator where we sell off a little bit. Altcoins go up a decent amount. We kind of go stagnant for a couple of weeks. And then we have the real altcoin season, which is like the last 4 to 6 weeks before pretty much the grand finale, right? As of right now, we are at 60% dominance, right? We are around 60% dominance. We really need to start seeing candle close below the 60% to get the confirmation that 100% confirmation that altcoin season has officially started, right? Until we break this massive zone, I am not calling anything yet, even though it is very, very likely that it will. I am still personally not going to call anything. And yeah, things are looking good. The money for crypto is looking good as well. It is just kind of lingering around the all-time highs. I do believe if we do respect this 3.94 trillion market cap, then we will continue to push and we will be seeing a lot more money. We also do know, ladies and gentlemen, that there is going to be a rate cut in early to mid September. So, roughly a month from now, that rate cut could be the green flag for altcoins to really, really start flying. So, your time is very limited, in my opinion, to be accumulating Exen, to be accumulating other cryptos. You know, it has been crazy. This journey has been crazy, but the end times, the end signs are here, right? The end signs are here. It's not end times just yet, but the end signs are here. Even a month or two ago, I was already saying that we are much closer to the finish line than we are to even the middle line. And most definitely, we're not nowhere near the start. So, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, get ready, buckle up. These next few months are overall going to be crazy, right? The price action for Exian, despite it being weak, still shows very, very nice reversal signs because the selling pressure is looking to die out, and I expect things to reverse. I really do expect things to reverse. Like I said, technically speaking, we could create a higher low above the 0.014 and be fine, kind of just the way we did last week. So we still have a couple days to play out, right? Do not get discouraged because Exian is a little bit slow or it's selling off. Get ready for big pumps to come in the near future. Remember, the people that buy low and sell high are always the ones that experience the most benefits, right? Don't wait for it to start pumping to finally make your decision. Obviously, I'm not a financial advisor, but this is just even logical thinking, right? You see a nice demand zone for something like Exian at a nice relative bottom. If you're looking to dollar cost average, once again, not a financial advisor, but if you're just thinking logically, it'd probably be good to buy at the bottom and not once it starts pumping heavily. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that is ultimately it. I love you guys so much, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.